right. Should we get into the meat of the
Oh, let's
conversation
do it.
then?
Let's do
Stop
it.
talking about ourselves. In your experience, David,
Uh-oh.
or from what you've seen, how has the treatment of LGBTQ individuals changed in games over the period of your career, if at all?
Okay. Well, the things I can only speak from a personal standpoint. When I started, I was open about who I was after a certain point. I felt that any job that I went into, eventually the conversation would come around to something involving sexuality. And it just became a part of my life, sort of sitting there and waiting for the right moment to let people know. And I worked for a massive games company over several titles, and then I was invited to a release party, and they asked me, are you here by yourself? Did you bring someone? And I said, no, I'm here by myself. They went, you should have brought your girlfriend or your wife, and I went, what about a boyfriend? And they went, yeah. And I've never worked for them since. And this was in, I'm not going to say the year because you'll figure it out. But this was a while ago now. And that games developer has put out games with LGBTQ characters. So therefore, I know that those dinosaurs either are dead, or they've evolved, or they've had children and grandchildren who possibly have challenged who and what they are, or maybe they've seen something in themselves. So got lots more to say, but I'm going to ask the same question to you.
I don't think I can top that, David. I mean, there's not much to say from a personal perspective. What I can say, drop a few numbers.
Yeah.
Is that in the last census, the UK population that identified as LGBTQ was 3.1%, which Stonewall says is underestimated, and you know how that data is collected, it's definitely underestimated. But in the games industry, and this is a UK survey that went out last year, it's 21%. It is very good. It feels personally a very safe place to be out. But it just depends, like, just because your buddies at work are, it doesn't mean that higher ups are okay with it. And so there's still that element of judging the room.
Do you think there's a reason why there's such a high percentage in this industry?
I mean, we were talking about it earlier. I think it's creative. I think that's always been a safe haven. But I think we were talking about representation, I suppose, by stealth in character creation, and that you just play the hell you want and everyone respects you for it. And there isn't a world of maybe discrimination in the way that we experience. It's total acceptance. So maybe there's a generation of people that just grew up in that and realized games was for them. Yeah. And now they're writing the stories and directing them and just making them.
Being in our parents' basements and getting to be something other than the shitty situation that we're in, I think maybe calls to a lot of people. But we have a high representation here. It's been really, really interesting to see people becoming comfortable with who they are, working from one game to another, suddenly meeting someone who has evolved in many different ways when you get to work with them again is amazing.
Wow. Yeah.